cafe. We'll have something to sit around with. I'm gonna get enough flowers out of a pretty small patch to keep that restaurant totally supplied. Marigolds really do a good job of keeping the bugs down too.
How do they do that?
Well, certain bugs are attracted to them, but most sucking bugs like aphids and cabbage worms and stuff like that are really repulsed by this. I don't know why, but they don't come near. Same with pyrethrum. Pyrethrum kills. It's the thing they use for killing fish, and it's also the thing that is really a popular, like, organic insecticide type of thing. It's the pyrethrum plant. It's one of the painted daisy is another word for it. It's pretty much past its prime right now. You can't really see it. But and we got I got a couple bags here so we can harvest the edible flowers as well. Just get a few for the tables. We got some flowers sitting out. Red's always a hard color flowers to grow. Yellow is an easy color. It's easy to get lots of yellow flowers. It's hard to get enough red flowers. Funny about that. At least in our area.
Yeah, you don't get red leaves in the fall either like you do back east.
No.
Red or purple, it's all pretty much yellow or some orange.
Yeah. Well, zinnias haven't been too good this year either. The hail really nailed them. We had that big hail August 1st or 2nd sometime in there.
Yeah, I missed that.
And it really pounded things. I mean, the zucchini was just like totally flattened. All this is new leaf since the 1st of August.
Huh.
So, and, excuse me here. That ought to do for flowers. Where did I put those in? The nasturtiums. We get most of our edible flowers from the nasturtiums. These guys throw up like a flower a day. Every plant puts up like several of them. And they're just mighty tasty. The ones that aren't good enough to take to the cafe, I usually just eat them. Because if you keep them pruned back, they keep throwing up more flowers. If you leave them alone, they'll make a few seeds and they'll call it a day. But if you keep them sexually frustrated, they'll hang out forever. There's a life lesson there somewhere.
Perhaps. It's a little early in the morning for me to want to contemplate it, but yeah.
Another thing we've got right here, all this is the sorrel. And here's a nice patch here. We use this as a green, and also in in sauces. You can cook with it. And you can see it's pretty easy to harvest a lot of sorrel. Fairly short period of time. We have a lot of sorrel goes in salads and stuff. It's very good early in the season, and then in July it dies back and it goes to seed. And so for about a month you can't really get anything out of the sorrel. And then now again, towards the middle or end of August, it comes back like gangbusters, and you can get a lot of sorrel leaf again. It's possible to shred it up and freeze it if you're going to be cooking with it. It makes a great sauce, like I said. And sorrel is one of the things that's very easy to grow in your personal garden as well as in some sort of commercial garden, you know. It's a perennial. It comes back year after year. So I never have to plant it. In fact, if anything, it comes back too much and it turns into a weed. But then everything is a weed if you think it's a weed. And a lot of my garden looks kind of weedy because I let things come back. If that's where they want to grow, I let them grow there. It's taught me a lot on what things require. There's a pretty fast bag full of greens. Another green we use a lot of is chervil. Here's my chervil patch. One of my chervil patches.
Which one is it?
This guy. This is a chervil. It's got this lacy leaf. Kind of looks like a little carrot or something. And it has a delicious anise smell and flavor. And again, you can just kind of harvest it like this. I tend to grow them in patches rather than rows, just because it's that kind of a plant. It tends to form little carpets almost if you just let it grow the way it wants to. And it'll take over a whole area like this. It pretty much does a good job of weeding itself. Keeps the other stuff from growing in there. Pretty good job of weeding. It's got some stuff, and a little more sorrel there to get. I'm going to try and clean it a little bit before I throw it in the bag. It's a lot easier than trying to clean it later. Okay. There's our chervil. This is the Oric. It's pretty much the end of the season for the Oric. You can pick the leaves as far into, right up until the very last day, but I've picked these so heavily there's almost nothing left except the seeds. You can see The seeds are still on here. It's a beautiful plant. And I just let this, I just kind of bend these over and let the seeds fall back. And I'll have a complete Oric patch just like here. You have about, 8 by 8 or so. Where the, it's nothing but Oric. Over here I did co-cultivation with the broccoli and the Oric. I got some good stills of it. You can't really, it's so far advanced in the season now, it's hard to tell, but the broccoli comes up and the Oric forms like a carpet, a red carpet all around the Oric. And it keeps out all the other plants, all the other...
You mean all around the broccoli?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just broccoli and Oric that grow on this whole patch.
And it keeps the weeds out?
And it keeps the weeds out. The Oric blocks the weeds out. Another one that I often plant in here is the mustard. This is wild mustard, and again, you see it's going to seed. I'm letting the mustard go to seed as well. But this time of year, this mustard is really hot. It just takes a little bit to shred up a few leaves. And this will burn your tongue. I mean, this is hot mustard.
Today's September 3rd, right?
September 3rd.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we're pretty much at the end of the garden season here. We got another 2 weeks maybe before, on a good year, we'll have two weeks before the killing frost. But this is prime time for a lot of stuff. The sunflowers are still going great gangbusters. They'll make good flowers for the restaurant. And oops. Let's go into the greenhouse next. Since we're about the end of the season out here, we'll go into the greenhouse because that gives me another almost a month of goodies. You know the story about all the Jerusalem artichokes, Storm. Must have dug up as many Jerusalem artichokes as anybody.
Yeah.
And that's about, I don't know, what do you think, 5 gallons per plant, roughly? Those are kind of small plants.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a lot. You get a lot of potatoes out of those little guys. This is lemongrass growing in this pot. I'll take this inside when it gets too cold. Mm-hmm. We'll just grow the lemongrass on out, but you can see this is doing pretty good. I got lemongrass growing over here too. It's just a monster. Look at how big it gets. I would have done better except that I accidentally pulled it up one time. Thought I had that on here. And this is an edible chrysanthemum, the kiku. You can see that in the...
Hold that out again. Okay. All right.
That's edible leaf chrysanthemum. And they're kind of tangy, metallic. You wondered where that tape was?
No, that's the one. Well, maybe. I got that.
So you can see this is a good little patch. You can see how to harvest the edible chrysanthemum. I usually strip the stalks and then they grow back like this. They put out little side shoots. Since you're harvesting the greens, it's all good. I eventually let them flower and then they'll reseed in here. Same as the calendula. All the calendulas have kind of come back. I just pick the calendulas like this, but I don't serve them this way because they tend to get little bugs in here. and also because people tend to try and eat this part, which is really awful tasting.
Oh, the green part?
The green part. I can't imagine why people would do that, but they do. So when we use calendula in the restaurant, we just take out this. It gets rid of the bug problem. It gets rid of the
green.
The green. And these guys are nice. They have a nice. How do you describe that? Kind of floral, I guess, flavor. So I'm gonna pick a few of those. So here's the edible chrysanthemum. That's the edible chrysanthemum flower. And I'll throw those in too. And then we get a bunch of the. It's pretty easy to pick a bunch of these guys pretty fast. But they come back. I mean, this is what? It's a Tuesday, so I haven't harvested all weekend, but it's not much. I'd probably do this 3 times a week. Come through here and knock back all the flowers I can get. Yeah. And that's gonna be, that'll be more than enough for today probably. Get a few extras just in case. Never know when you might be busy. And this is perilla. The Koreans call it, or the Japanese call it shiso. And it's a good, it's kind of like a basil-y type of thing. So, excuse me. I just let the perilla come back up on its own. And this down here is another one that I harvest for greens. This is oxalis. And oxalis usually comes in shades of red and green, but I've intentionally picked, I weeded out all the green oxalis so that now I can see all the red oxalis as it comes up. And so it's a good weed. I never seed it, but it comes up like a weed in the garden, and I just pick the leaves like that, and that goes into wild salad mix as well. There's another example. And they have a really, you remember these have a nice tangy flavor, kind of a little bit lemony. Noticeable zing on those guys. Check out the peppers. Look at those Anaheims, dude. Is that great?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be raising peppers for another 20 or 30 days in here, for sure. And again, the workhorse of the whole edible flower deal is the nasturtium again. I can pick this many nasturtiums, and I come back tomorrow and I'll have, or 2 days from now, and I'll get just as many again. And these just go whole into salads on people's plates. So, I think that's pretty much it. I think what else we got.
So that's going in today?
This is what's going in today. I got a few zooks, a couple eggplants, and some, it's late in the season, so we got the second and third cuttings of broccoli. They're just little heads, but you still get, you can see, you can get quite a few.
And this is all from the garden?
Oh yeah, sure. All just today. And then there's a bag of the oxalis leaves that I showed you earlier. And here's another bag. There's our flowers, edible flowers. This is purslane.
It's what?
Purslane. It's a weed too. It's a succulent. It just grows naturally. I grow it intentionally up No, but purslane is, you see the little black seeds, it's just a very common garden weed. And I plant it in with peppers because it forms a nice mat underneath the peppers, and eggplants, because peppers and eggplants both really don't like to get water splashed on their leaves. And since we've got to irrigate out here, there's no way, and they're going to get the water any other way. These make a nice carpet, and they keep the dirt from splashing up on the leaves of the plants. And at the same time, I can harvest them for, salad greens. They go into the wild salad mix. Purslane's a very nice plant. It's got a very mild kind of mucilaginous, a little bit like okra maybe. Although a lot of people don't like okra. It has a nice mild flavor, a good texture. We put it in, and goes well with other greens in a salad. There's a bunch of the big mustards and some more of the chrysanthemum, edible chrysanthemum that I picked earlier. And then we got a whole bag of the sorrel and the chervil. So, this will give us wild salad mix for 2 or 3 days. That's usually a good stretch of time for that. You don't want to pick more than 2 or 3 days worth at once.
Right.
Because it
just spoils.
Spoils, yeah. And there's tomorrow's flowers. I'll pick my nasturtium from that pot over there. Again, those are in pots so that as soon as it gets too cold outside, we'll just haul those inside, and we'll be able to keep nasturtiums on a much less regular basis. I'll be able to do nasturtiums into end of October. I have in the past.
Right.
We can take a look at the tomato patch. That's one other thing. In the tomato patch here, I put the marigolds in, again, like an insect barrier.
Right.
On the border here. And right behind them grow the basil. And the basil grows very well with tomatoes. The basil and tomatoes counteract each other's parasites.
Oh, is that
The
right?
things that eat tomatoes don't like basil, and the things that eat basil don't like tomatoes. So it's a really good thing to grow them together. I've harvested, this is my 3rd or 4th cutting of basil. In this and this patch and the other patch over there, I get about a gallon or a gallon and a half of pesto.
Wow.
Just out of what we do here.
Right.
And to preserve it, I just take the leaves, I throw them in the blender and drizzle in a little olive oil, and then you can freeze it at that point.
Right.
It's an easy way to save it. I don't add anything else but olive oil, because that way I can make a vegan dish and not have to worry about, did I put butter or peanut oil. Peanut oil is another thing I don't use now because so many people are allergic to peanut products, peanuts of all sorts. And if somebody's allergic to peanuts, man, just a little bit is all it takes. So. But yeah, I mean, you can look at the tomatoes, man. You can see it looks like somebody put a steamroller over here. The hail did all that.
Right.
Really knocked it down. Looks pretty trashed. And although it's past its prime, we use a lot of fennel. And it's pretty much the end of the fennel by now. There's a few more we can get. It makes a beautiful garnish. Usually get a few stalks of this on a fancy meal. It makes people smile. You can't figure out where the smell's coming from. A lot of people think it's basil, although it doesn't smell anything at all like
No,
basil.
it does more like anise.
Anise, yeah. But yeah, and when in the early season, I'll often throw a few sprigs of this in the wild salad too, because that's a nice you know, spicy addition. And this guy got hit by the hail pretty hard. These, as you can see, these are pretty seriously stripped.
Yeah.
Hail just knocked them down. Other than that, it's herbs over here, blessed thistle. Look at the astragalus, dude. This astragalus, monster. And it's just starting to put out flowers right now. End of the year, right now in September. It's just starting to throw flowers out. This guy's 4 years old. This astragalus plant is. And I got the valerian has already come and gone. And these last coreopsis, they're pretty hardy. They hang on until the end of the season too. I guess that does it for the restaurant. Here comes food.
We'll be there Wednesday. No, what's today? Today's Tuesday.
Larry, how you doing? We don't bring in salad. Strong's doing a quick videography on the wild salad process. This is sustainable. Sustainable systems.
Larry Mulberry.
So, hey now. Good, Dean. Here he goes, Stormus.
You're busy,
I'll be right with you.
Oh, I'm not. I'll just, as we go, I do my registration. I'll do that.
Okay.
Is it a silent video?
Is there enough light here?
Yeah.
Is this a silent video?
No.
You can talk all you want. We'll just edit it out.
Depending on what you say.
Anything offensive. It's the new Bush type of statesmanship. You
Yeah.
can say whatever you want. We just won't report anything that's unfavorable.
Yeah, it's worked for the Republicans for years.
Yes, we just discovered it, yes, last week. We were reading the paper and we realized, hey,
Hey, we never knew before, you know. They had us fooled for so long.
I was so full.
Morning, Storm. How are you?
All right, and how are you?
I am wonderful.
She's wonderful.
I heard that about
Larry
you.
knew that.
Well, I was willing to give you better than wonderful, so
Oh,
it's
really?
kind of a letdown that you.
Wait a minute, that's not what
You're selling yourself short.
That's not what you were saying in the van on the way over here. Oh,
Hey, not to bum you out with business, but on our
It's not possible, Stacy Joe.
on our lease, is there anything written about the parking situation?
We are totally beyond our means in the parking lot.
Do we have the right to a parking spot?
The 3.
One.
2.
Is that a technical parking spot where
Okay.
Redneck is?
No.
That is not a parking spot, and
Can I have him towed just to amuse myself?
you could call Patterson and have him call it. You can't call it in.
Patterson's the guy parked there.
Well, you've got
No say?
You've got no say.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Every
Why?
morning he comes and yells at me about the parking. And today he towed people. But he yells at me and we don't drive, we don't park here. Michael doesn't even drive anymore. And he doesn't park.
Well, it's
No one that works here drives except for him and Jess. And they don't park in our lot. And it's just so frustrating to have some redneck come in and yell at me first thing every morning about parking. And I was just hoping I would have
you're
some
just hoping that there
form of
was some other
action.
angle. Huh?
Yeah, I was.
Welcome to the real world, sis.
I hope so. And I figured I would talk to you before I freaked out on him too bad nature.
I'm really glad you talked to me before you freaked out on it.
Because I mean, he yells at me every day, and I of course yell back because he gets me irate.
Good. Well, that's probably good for both of you to let off steam. Probably, don't you think, Sean? Probably it's a wholesome thing in the long run that everybody.
Sean and Wholesome don't generally go together, Larry. He's the wrong kind of ass.
Paragraph, sir. If I would speak.
What other soup are you making me today? chowder.
A lot of people have this about them.
It's all about me, Larry. Now you know.
No, it's actually zooming in on the pastries or whatever those are. But I can zoom in on the garbage on the floor too.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah. Well, where's the health department?
How fuzzy can you get that? Especially when located anywhere near me.
Yeah. Well, it's on you right now. So.
It'd be funny to get everybody in black masks working through. Yeah, it's very-
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah. The Anarchist Cafe.
We're so good in this town. The best business move we ever made.
What is?
If we were the Anarchist Cafe.
Yeah, that's something that Missoula desperately needs a good dose of is anarchism.
Yeah, I think you might have come across something there. We might have to change the name.
Right.
Or not.
I have to go through Larry for that one.
I've tried changing the name. It doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, didn't you change the name?
At least once.
At least once. Nobody noticed though. People
Well, the
still
second
call
time
two
people
sisters
kinda
the old
noticed.
town,
The
so.
second time people started to notice. The first time it was a waste of time. There you go.
Why you always want to be a rock star? You want?
Where would we be without edible mushrooms?
In this restaurant,
No, I had to say something to that effect because the camera was rolling when you were talking about buying mushrooms, so I made a point of clarifying what you're talking about. Yeah. Belites, that was what you said, right? You were talking about Belites.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't need the MPD watching this on MCAT and coming in here with a...
That's a liability right there.
Yeah.
Going out the back door.
Voila.
There it
We'll
is.
sell it, huh?
That's a work of art.
There you go. And that's everything that we saw on film except for the purslane. Purslane's not present there.
Okay. Fantastic. Now that's art. That is true culinary art.
What kind of salad dressing you want on that culinary art piece? Sunflower seeds?
Sunflower seeds, definitely. Make it ranch.
Ranch? Ranch on top of this?
All right, that's better.
Sorry.
What's that?
Right? I don't think you
Oh, okay. Well, then garlic vinegar.